So I don't like using Mount Rushmores because if you said give me a Mount Rushmore of your 4 greatest wrestlers, it's almost impossible.
Yeah.
And Nick brought up the fact of, well, I'll say my question first, and I'll say what he brought it up as. But so I say, do a top 10, like your top 10 faces or blah 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 blah. So I think we need to have a serious discussion at this point about Seth being on some type of top 10 list, because I think I counted 6 or 7 that are no doubters in my opinion. Cena, Hogan,
Stone Cold, Rock, Triple H.
No, he wasn't on my list.
Ooh.
You said Flair.
I don't know if I had Brett maybe or Sean.
And Brett. You had Brett.
So to me, there's 6 people. I forget, and I don't think it was the 6 that Daniel and I said. I think there's some type of combination somewhere in there. There's 6 people out of 10 I think that are probably no doubters. Then, if WWE produced a DVD, and I think it's actually on the network too, on Peacock, the 50 greatest wrestlers of all time.
Sheesh,
it's a terrible list anyway, because they had like Rey Mysterio above Ric Flair. Come on now.
Oh, come on.
Yeah, no, I mean,
don't disrespect Ray. I'm sorry. Ray's better than Flair.
Okay, no.
Can I kick you out of your own apartment? The door's that way.
You know what? You should get an AA from me, and then I should spear you through that door.
Or you should just go to AA and see if there's any trace of anything in you that is.
Let's be honest. Ray never had to go heel. Ray has been a babyface his whole career.
No. That's incorrect.
When did he go heel?
Ray was heel in WCW.
Okay, so it had to been a time where I literally never knew. It had to be in a time.
Okay, if he did.
Thank you for that one.
But either then,
Thank you.
Ray Mysterio, since it's been WWE, has never went heel. Let me rephrase that.
Oh.
And he's been the babyface of the company. He has been tremendous with the fans, and if we're being honest, I think he got screwed when he won his World Heavyweight Championship back at WrestleMania 22, and how they did his whole thing and basically took his title from him was bull. And I'll be honest, Ray to me should have been the one that got a push there for a good little while as the title holder, since Batista was out on injury and they screwed him.
But don't forget, he's a deadbeat dad.
No, he's not.
Okay.
That's a storyline.
That's what Dominic has said.
Well, Dominic's also Dominic.
Dominic looks a lot like Eddie.
I
still think he's Eddie's son. Let's be honest.
I need your help with this one. When you say a wrestler is better than a certain wrestler, what are we talking about here? Are we talking about how much the fans love him?
That's the thing. That's the
ability?
thing.
Like, what is that?
That's the thing. So that's where Nick was going with it too, because if you did like a Mount Rushmore of, give me a topic, and it doesn't need to be legitimate. I mean, it can be silly. Okay, if we're doing a Mount Rushmore of best people to use a chair,
yeah.
Are we saying that they could find the chair? Are we saying that they could hit with the chair? Are we saying that they hit hard with the chair, or their placement of the chair? So the Mount Rushmore is up to you in terms of, or your top 10. It's up to you. I mean, if you want to put Hulk Hogan on there just because of his he's a bad example. Okay, if you want to put Diamond Dallas Page on there because he teamed with Karl Malone and Jay Leno, then knock yourself out. I mean, so you decide how the 10 is. I think Daniel and I, when we were talking about it, we were kind of comparing it to, if you wrote a history of wrestling, these 10 people are getting more than one sentence. These 10 people are almost paragraph. That's the way I don't know about you.
No, I agree.
But that's kind of the way that I like, and the thing about too is I'm a WCW guy. I love WCW. My dad raised me on Mid-Atlantic Championship Wrestling rather than cartoons. When I was growing up, I used to love Bullwinkle's exit theme music because I knew that Mid-Atlantic Championship Wrestling was coming on. So when I didn't need to see Bullwinkle, I just needed to hear the ending music to Bullwinkle, and then I got excited. But, but most people consider WWF, what a lot of people called it back in the day of history, is New York. If you made it to New York, you made it big time. But Ric Flair, if you take his body of work, his Mid-Atlantic NWA work is probably more significant than the WWE work. That's probably arguable for a different podcast too. But a lot of people will say what you did in WWE is kind of like what counts type of thing. So I think most of the guys Daniel and I had on there, we did his, WWE, except maybe Hogan, obviously. Rest in peace. I guess we have to say that every time we mention his name now. Rest in peace. Hulk Hogan, rest in peace. But, I think the thing he did with the NWO, that was not a WWE thing first. Yeah. That was a WCW thing first. And Hogan actually made it, in my opinion, cooler to watch wrestling again. Back in that's kind of when y'all were growing up a little bit, per se.
I'm still old. I don't care what you say. I'm getting older.
Well, yeah, I know you are. You'll be 40 this month in about a week, actually. Or 30, I'm sorry. 30. My
You
bad.
said it right the first time. We're going to go ahead and say 40.
My bad. But anyway, the whole point of the story is, I think, you could do a Mount Rushmore, the Attitude Era, so to speak. But I think it's so hard to get into a Mount Rushmore, we just decided to do a top 10. Yeah. But ultimately, Dion's list is Dion's list. I mean, we can argue it. We can argue Bob's list. But at the same time, Dion put his list together. What are Dion's criteria? I don't know.
Okay, now that you put it that way, okay. You brought me back. Thank you.
I feel like we all would have the same 5, maybe 6 to start out. Like if we broke it down by tiers and we say we put 20 in tier 1, I think out of those 20, probably half, if not a little bit more than half, would be the same for all three of us.
Yeah, we talked about, we actually pivot real quick. We talked about NFL quarterbacks, and I think we did a tier 1, and we said like 20 people are invited to tier 1.
Yeah.
And tier 1 get to come to like the special parties. The tier 2 people, they get their own party, but they don't get into the after party that the tier 1 guys get into.
Okay.
So that's kind of the way I think we were breaking down the wrestling a little bit. I think we only invited 10. I mean, we can invite 15.
All right, let's do this. So I'm gonna name off what I think. It's like at least 6. I mean, half of 15 is really what, 6.5, 7.
Now let me interject real quick. Nobody's got a sheet of paper with them. Nobody's got a pad of paper, so we're going off memory.
Yeah,
I can tell you, Dion's going to name somebody that Daniel probably forgot. They're probably both going to name somebody I forgot, and I'm going to probably name somebody that either A, they haven't heard of because I'm old, or B, that they forgot.
I didn't even know we were supposed to make a list.
Well,
we just kind of just spitballing here.
We do the fun type list as opposed to, hey, here's homework for the podcast type of thing.
So, guaranteed on it, you got The Rock.
Okay.
Guaranteed, Stone Cold.
And this is no particular order, right?
No particular order.
Okay, that makes it even a little
Rock,
bit more easy.
Stone Cold, Bret the Hitman Hart. As much as I can't stand this, Ric Flair.
Now, let me rephrase too. We're talking their prime wrestling ability. We're not talking anything like that happened. Like Ric Flair's gotten a little
crazier,
silly in his older days. So I mean, like with Hogan, I know Hogan had his. And I'm assuming you're going to put him on the list.
He was my next
Hogan
one.
has his little things, but and shoot, to some people they're not little things; they're big things. But Hogan has, Hogan's kind of that face of wrestling. Hogan's the person that Vince McMahon used in the 80s. Say your prayers, take your vitamins. He didn't say shoot with steroids, but people are going to say that type of stuff. But we're talking good stuff, Hogan type of thing. So go ahead. I didn't mean to interrupt.
So yeah, Hogan was my 5th one, and then we're going to look at Triple H being in that tier 1, if we're being honest. John Cena for sure, without a doubt. I think, and honestly, Bob might disagree with me here, I think you have to include Roman Reigns in that because Roman has been a Grand Slam champion, which very few have done, but he's also held the title the longest, so I think you got to include him. You got to include Brock Lesnar, as much as I can't stand the idea of that. I mean, that's 9 right there. I mean, do y'all disagree with any of those 9 I said?
Yes.
Oh, Jesus.
Who do you disagree with?
Roman.
Oh, do it.
Because you haven't seen it enough, or because he just hasn't been around long enough?
Probably because I put other people in there.
Okay, so out of my 9, you disagreed with 1, but you agreed with the other 8.
I mean, I could argue them if you want me to.
Who else would you argue?
Bret Hart. And I love Bret Hart. I love Bret Hart dearly. I love Bret Hart.
Hey,
I'm a little shocked that you would argue that one, actually. If
I
we're
love
being
Bret
honest.
Hart. Did I mention that? I love Bret Hart.
And hilariously, Roman Reigns is a Bret Hart guy. Like, he even said in like an interview that he, I think he said he gravitates with Bret, like, you know, the Hitman because of his worth ethic, and what he, you know, stands for around that time when he was wrestling.
Now, if you listen to a podcast that I jumped on with these guys earlier, where we did the Mount Rushmores and we did the Philadelphia Eagles,
Chris Van Vliet.
Okay.
Yep.
That's my guy. That's my guy.
I ain't forgot. I see a couple of clips here and there.
So, well, when we did the Eagles Mount Rushmore on an earlier podcast, I think we only did the
Which was terrible.
Eagles, but we only did it from like 1990s to present, or 1980s to present. So we're not going back to like the 40s or 50s, even though I could, you know, maybe do a little wrestling history a little bit. We're not going back to like, you know, Luthez and all that stuff with people, you know, that wrestled in black and white and stuff like that. I mean, I'm going to keep this fair. I mean, I like Dusty Rhodes. I'm a big Dusty fan. I've got the shirt on mainly because it fits. But I also very much like Dusty. You know, and it's tough because it's kind of like Dion said, what criteria are we judging? You didn't mention CM Punk, by the way, in this top 10.
I never finished my top 15, you mean?
Okay, well, whatever. Sorry.
CM Punk was on there, but also Cody Rhodes is on there, if we're being honest. But you're going to disagree with that one, I'm probably sure.
Wow. Why the hate to me?
You said what?
Why the hate to me? I feel like
Because I feel like you're going to disagree with it and think that Cody doesn't belong there.
just because I disagree with it doesn't mean that. I mean, man, I feel like we're like shooting arrows through Bob or something today.
Maybe he forgave you about that Eagles Mount Rushmore routine.
Maybe it's because I said that last. Maybe it's because I said that last egg tasted funny. Wait, I mean, and the thing about it is this. Okay, even if we did we also did mention Andre.
Oh,
That
Andre
was
the
one that
Giant.
I did forget on.
So, like, you know, honestly, now I truly ask anybody that wants to make lists to really get out the pen and paper at some point, or your phone notes or pad or whatever, because if you do hey, these are the people coming to the tier one, the goats of the goats. I mean, ain't not just anybody gets into this party. I mean, you can dress up as a waiter if you want to, but
Jeez.
to be invited.
Invited.
So even if we did 20,
Yeah.
I think you still are gonna, and it does this with anything. I mean, you know, if you like the NCAA tournament for March Madness, everybody's gonna always argue about, well, who's 65? Well, why does it really matter? Because they were 60. And I'm not saying it like that, but you know, it's 65. I mean, like, you know, we're talking the 20 goats, and you know, if you're leaving out 21, well, I could say, were they really a goat? Well, yeah, kind of in this case they are.
Yeah.
But, you know, I mean, you're going to leave out somebody. You're going to leave out an Edge. You're going to leave out a Kurt Angle.
I was just about thinking of them too, honestly.
You're going to leave out an Eddie Guerrero.
See, I put Eddie in tier 1. Edge and Kurt Angle probably going to be tier 2.
Now, by the way, I said that we are not using, like, the quote-unquote negatives, like the Hulk Hogan stuff.
Yeah.
Murder, by the way, can kind of trump that a little bit. So, I love Chris Benoit's in-ring work.
I was thinking about him too.
Kind of hard to put out of memory how it ended in his case, because it's a tragic and super sad ending that not only ended his life, but it ended other people's lives as well. So for that one, you might be able to hold that against him, so to speak. I mean, you know, it's not like taking a piece of candy off the racket sheets and walking out. I know we have levels of sin. I'm not getting into that on this podcast, but it's a little bit different in this case. Of, you know, you might not be able to come to tier 1 if people are going to have to say, "Is he going to kill me? You know, has he got some roid rage going on in his body right now?" But it's very hard to, I think, come up with 20, or 15 or whatever we want to do. But my whole point is, I think Seth Rollins needs to become part of this discussion now, because I think he's very good in the ring.
Yeah.
We talked about, you know, what?
The face.
What?
You're saying you'll add Seth Rollins into that, but you won't put Roman or Cody in this
No.
conversation.
I said Seth Rollins needs to be part of the discussion.
The discussion, not necessarily.
I didn't say it was added necessarily.
But you're not giving Roman or Cody the benefit of the discussion?
I just disagreed with them. I didn't say they're not part of the discussion. I just disagreed. I said Seth needs to be part of the discussion.
I believe that.
I mean,
by
I
the way.
can't disagree.
believe that, by
I
the way.
can't.
Do I need to leave? I mean, I do in a little while, but I mean, do I need to leave right now?
No,
Gosh,
I mean,
felt
I can't disagree.
More arrows coming through me right now.
By the way, you are 0-2 when it comes to certain topics and whatnot, but
Me?
Well,
no,
you,
I'm talking about. No,
well,
you're good. You're
we're
good.
sitting
You're
here
doing
talking
your
about
thing.
the
You're
tier
good.
ones just of singles.
I
Let's
don't
see.
even know Dion that well, and I was ready to flip the table on him right there.
Let's see if we
fine.
would have
You're
changed just slightly. Like, let's stay in the conversation that we're in here when it comes to like the tiers, but let's take away the single competitors and set them aside. Let's look at a tier comparison of like your like 15 to 20 tag teams.
How many? 15 or 20?
Let's do 15,
Okay.
and we're looking at tag teams.
Okay.
Guaranteed Team 3D, guaranteed Hardy Boys, guaranteed the Hearts. I mean, I don't disagree there. I mean,
Are you making the list? How are you going to disagree with
You
your own
feel
self?
me?
I truly think, I don't know if you consider
Warriors.
Road
Warriors.
Warriors. Yes, I did forget about them. I'm gonna say the Usos. Bob may disagree. Dion probably. I don't know.
No, I agree. You
I'm
know,
invited.
You know I'm a Uso. Come on now.
I'm invited to these things for one reason and one reason only. It's because I'm old, and I can bring up the older people into this whole shebang of things. See, I'm an 80. I call myself an 80s baby. You weren't around. You weren't around.
But I do get educated in
Right,
the 80s.
right.
so-
No, I'm trying to knock him, by the way, not you.
Shots fired.
But I mean, like, you know, I'm
Have a
here
nice
for the
day.
history. I'm like the encyclopedia that you dust off on the shelf. I'm just dusty.
Brothers of Destruction.
See, and now my 80s bones are kicking in a little bit.
All right. Who else am I
mean-
forgetting? I mean, that's 5 guaranteed. I think.
It's hard. It's hard because it's like Dion said. It's like Nick said. What's our criteria? You know that we're doing. So it gets hard in that respect. I mean, a lot of people will pump Demolition from, you know, well, you made a face. Daniel made a face, everyone, just in case you couldn't see it. A lot of people call Demolition Road Warrior ripoffs. They wore the face paint. But, you know, you got to think, too, not everybody was doing that then. I mean, Demolition was...
Not as good as Road Warriors.
I will say they were not as... what's the word I'm looking for? It's not really limber, but maybe it is limber. They weren't bouncing around, but a lot of people weren't bouncing around, you know.
Acrobatics. Yep.
Here's the thing, and I'm not trying to knock the Hardys or the Usos or the New Day. Wrestling is much different now where those guys fly around a lot. I don't know that they're necessarily the best ground workers of all time, but Demolition, the Road Warriors, what?
I feel like the Hardy Boys would definitely be considered the groundwork.
No.
I'm not, Hardys are flyers too.
Yeah.
Hardys
Yeah.
aren't grounders. But what I'm saying, and I'm not trying to play this game of, well, put the Hardys in the 80s and see if they can work the ground game. I'm not playing that. But, like, you know, I mean, it's different because Demolition was not exactly, I mean, Demolition, do you know what Demolition's big move was?
I don't remember.
This is not me trying to make any, but I'm not trying to sound smart, although I am. But, you know, Demolition would, like, one guy would, like, backbreaker the other guy, have him sitting on his knee, and the other guy would come off the second rope and drop the elbow on him while he's in the backbreaker. The Road Warriors did the, I want to say it was a Doomsday Device, I think is what they called it. They'd have the guy up on their shoulders, and Animal would have the guy up on his shoulders. Hawk would go up to the top rope and clothesline the guy.
Okay, that's
those things are considered, you know, high risk
Yeah.
in the 80s. Nowadays, I mean, those are not really high risk. So that just shows to me how wrestling has evolved. Hardys and Dudleys, and I'm not trying to take anything away from them whatsoever, but they're doing things that you did not do as much back then. Whether, I don't care why we're not arguing why they do it. I don't care about that. That's not the point of this discussion. But the Hardys and Dudleys do things a lot more that, you know, people in the Dudleys are probably more of a throwback, actually, now that I think about it, because I think the Dudleys could probably assimilate to any era.
Oh, I agree.
100%, because I think...
Devon, get the table.
Did you hear did you watch Van Vliet to hear the story about that?
Not I didn't.
Devon, the whole shtick for that gimmick was he was afraid Devon was going to forget.
Okay, that's the wrong one.
And
Sorry.
then he said it caught on so well. That's why Bubba started yelling it all the time, because Devon was getting legitimately mad. Because he's like, Bubba, I'm not an idiot. I know to get the table and stuff like that. But eventually, it became more of the crowd was getting into it. So that
was pretty awesome.
That's why they did it.
You know, one team. The problem with me, with who I'm about to name, it was a tag team, but it was also a faction. Sorry, I don't know why I said fraction.
1/2, 3/4. Anyway,
but
get the R out of here.
To me, I didn't like it as a faction. But I liked them as a tag team, and that's D-Generation X.
Huh.
I think Triple H and Shawn Michaels was.
I thought you were going a different way with that, honestly.
You said what?
I thought you were going to go a different way.
What did you think I was going to go?
Evolution.
To me, that was more of like a faction. They never really, like, you had 4 members, but there was never really, like, there was no, how do I say this? There was no, like, communication, I guess. Like, so in the aspect of when I say that.
They were only tag team champions out of it, so.
But,
yeah.
So was DX.
Well, but see, then the 2 out of DX is
Road Dogg and Billy Gunn.
Well, see, I don't consider them. I don't.
Well,
they're separate.
I bet they do.
They're separate. And when I think of DX, I'm thinking of just Triple H and Shawn Michaels. And the reason I say this is because when you look at how they did their tag matches, the way they set it up, so it was literally Triple H would do his signature setup, which then led to Shawn Michaels super kicking the guy, which goes right into Triple H's pedigree. And the way those, like, it worked for them to be able to do both finishers as like a tag team, the way the communication, I guess, or however you wanted to say the word that I'm trying to think here, that to me puts them as like, it was magic to watch them in the ring as a tag team, just those 2 alone.
I get what he's saying. I'm going to come to his aid because I saw you make a face.
Yeah, help me out with that one.
But I'm going to come to his aid on. I think you do consider DX has probably Triple H and Michaels. New Age Outlaws kind of merged themselves
into DX. Okay, that was the name
DX.
of that group. Okay, so that was the name of that.
I know Daniel thinks I never take his side, so I just want to do it just to kind of appease him as well.
He took my side.
There's actually on Peacock. I don't know if it's on Peacock, but I have a DVD like the 20 or 25 or I don't remember. It might even be 50 greatest tag teams of all time too. So you did forget Edge and Christian. Or did you name them?
They were coming up on my list, but
sorry,
I didn't
don't
name
mean
them.
to be the spoiler there. I mean, a group that you're forgetting from, that never really did WWE was Rock and Roll Express.
Oh,
I did forget about them. Yeah.
I mean, obviously, the Steiners never were really a tag team in WWF, and I mean, I'll tell you this.
What about the Rock and Mankind? The Rock and Sock
connection.
No.
I don't think they were a great tag team. They were good, like in the aspect of like they were able to commend each other, kind of like Triple H and Shawn Michaels.
That was an awfully short tenure, wasn't it?
Yeah, but I mean, I wouldn't consider them. They're not on my tier 1, by the way. I just thought about that tag team, but I liked how they kind of communicated. Like same with Triple H and Shawn Michaels, they were able to combine the finishers and the signatures together to make it masterpiece.
But see, now we're getting into this whole thing too, to where I could argue if we were doing tiers, and let's say we're only doing 15 just for fun, and the 15 that have made an impact, or that the regular people, I'd use the term regular people, but that people could get behind. I might put Rock and Sock up in that top 15, just because anytime you have The Rock, you're gonna, except for maybe Nation of Domination, you're gonna have funny stuff because The Rock was a funny guy out there. And I'm not trying to knock The Rock saying he couldn't do anything else, but he did do the funny. Foley could do the funny too. You put 2 funnies together and you don't get unfunny, you get almost funnier.
And who is this Rudy Poo in the blue?
Were they doing Rock and Sock when? Do you remember when Mick Foley did the "This Is Your Life"? For The Rock?
That was before.
Okay, but I mean stuff like that, and it was kind of Rock and Sock. I would almost compare to Alexa Bliss and Charlotte now, because it was a reluctant tag team with Rock and Sock. And the other thing too about Rock and Sock is, if I'm not mistaken, Al Snow kind of felt left out in Rock and Sock. I don't know that they've really had that with Alexa and Charlotte, so to speak. But I think Alexa and Charlotte are comparable to Rock and Sock. It was the reluctant people, if that makes sense.